Good morning, everybody. The Biden regime is sending cluster bombs to Ukraine. This is an evil and wicked thing to do, and it comes on top of escalation after escalation of the Ukraine conflict, which started off in February 2022 as a special military operation, which could have been stopped before it even happened if everyone had stuck to the Minsk agreements. But the collective West, or the regimes in the collective West and NATO, have insisted on escalating time and time again. First with the HIMARS weapons, the Javelins, the Patriot air defense missile system, the Leopard tanks and Challenger tanks, and then the Storm Shadow missiles from the UK. They were going to enact a false flag on the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant just recently, but there was so much outrage over this. So many people spoke up, I think recognized that this is what was being planned by the Zelensky regime, backed by NATO, that they didn't do that at the time that we thought it was going to happen, and they seem to have rode back from that. But immediately straight on the heels of that, the next escalation has come with Biden providing cluster bombs to Ukraine. Now, this is because Ukraine is running out of ammunition, and their so-called counter-offensive in southern Ukraine, Novorossiya, is not working. They are not pushing forward at all, apart from a couple of kilometers where the Russians create a fire trap, and then they liquidate all of the poor Ukrainian soldiers, a lot of them conscripts, who are forced to go to the front lines, and then they get sacrificed. The Biden regime doesn't care anything for ordinary Ukrainian people. I mean, a lot of the hardcore National Socialists, the Azov Battalion and so on, have already been destroyed. The country has already been well, these people have been removed, and killed in action over the last year as the conflict has gone on and got, worse and worse, and the fighting has got more violent in places. So these people mostly have gone, but now there are recruiting centres to get normal people who don't want any part of the war, but they're forced to go to the front lines, and they're sacrificed. This is just going to be another slaughter that is going on. Even his own regime last year, when Jen Psaki was the press officer for Biden, said that if Russia used cluster bombs, it would be considered a war crime. But here you are with the American administration, the Biden regime, is now sending these terrible weapons to Ukraine, and they're going to be used in a few days because they're going to get there and they'll use them immediately. And the thing with these is they're completely indiscriminate. They kill civilians as well as soldiers, and a lot of them are duds. They don't go off at the time. So up to 30% possibly could be duds. More, the dud rate might be 5%, 10%, 2.5%. We don't know. But a significant number will be duds, which do not explode on impact. But then later on, for years afterwards, people come and walk along. They might step on one of these cluster bombs that hasn't gone off. It blows up like a mine, and that's the end of said person. So it's going to cause chaos for years and years to come, which is why these things are banned by over 100 countries. There's been silence from other regimes in NATO. I mean, the Stoltenberg of NATO, he says, NATO doesn't have a position on cluster bombs. We're neutral. Well, you should have a position. It's wrong. It's wrong to use them. There's international agreements where we do not use these things because they are so destructive to civilians and innocent people. It's just a horror. There are these agreements and conventions so that war doesn't become even more horrific than it already is. It is a horrific thing in any case, but this makes it even worse, which is why there are these agreements. It's even banned in US law to send them, but Biden is circumventing that, and he's going to do it anyway. This is absolutely appalling. Where are the other voices in the UK against this? I don't see anybody else speaking out against this, apart from a few people who would normally would speak out against this as well. George Galloway, Patrick Henningsen, and so on. I don't see anyone from the fake Conservatives or Labour or Reform UK or Lib Dems speaking out against this horror. No, because they all support escalating the war. This is absolutely evil, and it shouldn't be happening. My position stays the same. We need to de-escalate, not escalate by sending ever more destructive weapons. We're not meant to be enemies with Russia. This war should not have ever happened. This is the wrong future for the world. The right future for the world is to de-escalate, make peace, become friends with Russia again. That needs regime changes in Western nations, not Russia. We need to get rid of these wicked war escalators and warmongers at the ballot box wherever we can next time.